Hello and welcome back, or if this is your first time here, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and today I would like to take just a brief look at the markets, and then I have three opportunities in the stock market that you probably haven't heard about because honestly, these companies, pure technical plays, I don't know anything about the companies besides what I see on the charts. So if you guys have any of that fundamental information and a perspective on these companies, you're more than welcome to provide that down in the comments, or if you would just like to say hello, thank you, whatever it is that you want to put down in the comments. Maybe a shout out about your favorite Marvel film. I talked about that yesterday, and I know it's a little bit off topic, but still, I do like to have a little bit of fun. So in this video, like I said, we take a brief look at the markets. We have CPI like 6 minutes away as of the recording this. Not the focus of this video, although I do expect that to be positive for the economy, and I also expect it to be pretty positive as far as inflation goes, and I think it's going to be a positive influence on the Fed, encouraging them to pause, which we'll find out tomorrow at about 2 p.m. We'll find that out, and then we hear Jerome Powell come out and speak, I believe, about a half hour later at 2:30 p.m. So we definitely want to be on the lookout for that. And so in this video, I will be using Moomoo, and just so you know, you can get up to 17 free stocks by using my link that's down in the description. And not only can you do the technical analysis on your desktop, but it does also translate across platforms, across devices, so you can even take your cell phone and you can do that. So here, we're looking at the SPY, and you can see it's had quite a run since October, and that's nothing new. We actually have, in my opinion, about another 2% or so to run until we really hit around that 4,400 level and really stumble into some actual possibility of, I think, strong resistance that we would have, and maybe a little bit of a return back down close to this 50-day, which is this blue line that you see coming up along here, that we are starting to gap up above that. The farther we get away from it, the more likely it is that we start to either consolidate or maybe fall back towards a little bit. Being up above the 200 and the 50-day, the 200 days, this orange line that you see on here is something that is a bullish sign. So just because we tumble back towards the moving averages doesn't necessarily mean that we break through those moving averages. I don't know that we'll get that sort of news back. Black swan events aside, I don't think that we're going to see it. Like I said, this video is not about the overall markets, but it is worth taking a look at them. So I think on the Qs, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, we still got room for about 2% there as well before we bump into some resistance. And I also don't want you to forget, we do have like 7 companies in the NASDAQ 100 that are really causing this rally to really push up the way that they have. And you can even go back here and you can see the times that NVIDIA itself really put a push into the markets. So AI, boom, really moving along tech, especially the big tech that we have. And for big tech, there might be value over time forward looking in that. Although I think in the near term, I think that there's going to be a lot of hedge funds and institutions that are looking to kind of rotate their portfolios as we end Q2, lock in some of those profits, report an excellent quarter to the people who are investing with them. And so I think that we're going to see a little bit of softness come in and retail really take over the NASDAQ. So I know that there's a lot of retail that has already moved in, and you can see that in the volumes when you look back through it. So like I said, about 2% upside yet that we have before we start to resist a little and maybe see a little bit of shakiness in the market. And I don't think that ends the bull rally that we're seeing. Like I said, we're above the 50-day and 200-day, and I don't think that we're going to see a change in that strength given the sentiment that we have through consumers. And we'll see the University of Michigan survey coming out this Friday. I think retail is also going to show us some good numbers as well. So there's a lot of green lights, at least in the near future for us for these markets. So softness does not mean bearish. Softness just means that maybe we settle a little bit before we continue the rally, and we'll see what the Fed brings to us. And if we get a rally today into tomorrow, maybe we get that sort of pause. All right, so into the stocks. The first one I have for you is ticker symbol ASO. There we go. And this one is, I'll tell you the name of it here. Over to quotes. There we are. ASO, Academy Sports, something or other. There we go. Academy Sports and Outdoors. I told you I didn't know anything about these companies, but when I look at this chart is sending a very clear signal to us. And mind you, it's also a very opportune time to look at this chart. So you can see the path that they've been on. And I was just talking about the S&P and the NASDAQ being up above the moving averages and that being bullish. Well, then what does it mean when they cross down through the moving averages as we have here, that we broke the 50-day, tumbled right down through the 200-day? As a matter of fact, this is important time-wise that we also came back towards the 200-day and we peaked at around 51, 51.50, and then we failed to break that. So this is something that actually is looking fairly bearish right now, for at least for this company that they started to break through that. So there actually is a fair amount of tumbling that can happen. So this is a company that if you're somebody who's into short selling, that you can take a look at this and see if that's something that you would be, that you also think that it's an opportunity. Now, I did mark down a little bit, like I said, about 51.40 is where we failed to really break above. So actually, with my cursor right here, this is 51.41, and we actually did peekaboo a little bit above that up to like 52.38, and we also have the 200-day moving average at 53.65. And what we want to see if we're looking at this to continue to drop is that we stay down below that 200-day. It would have been a little bit nicer if we retested the 200-day and failed it. We do have the 50-day inflecting downward, so that slope that you see there, that downward movement from left to right, is bearish, and then we're leveling out on the 200-day, which is going to lag because it's 200 days worth of average, whereas the 50-day is only 50 days worth of average that we see here, which you can see has been counted in, and now we're starting to see that drop, and we could see a death cross in the future coming up for ASO. So for this one, I feel like it should be on your radar because I think it will continue to move in a fairly predictable direction. Now, remember, the market can always surprise us, and it is possible that this fails to play out, and maybe the market contagion jumps on this. It did get a lot of recent downgrades in its price, and I think that it actually has a pretty long way to fall. So down to about $47 per share where we really hit an air resistance there. So maybe up above that a little bit, maybe at about $48 is where you would start to see people taking profit from a short sale on that, or maybe it's a place where people who are investors would start selling their calls because they expect a drop coming up. And, because they are investors, it's something to be holding on to long term. So we'll put that aside. We'll continue to talk about trading. And this is something that possibly we see heavy support coming in around $40 per share, which would be about a 20% drop from where they're at. So I think that this is an interesting opportunity looking at ticker symbol ASO. Like I said, another one that I have for you along the bearish line of things is EOG. My last one that I have for you was bullish, by the way. This is another one where we had a death cross and we had the 50-day breakdown below, and then we're also below the 200-day. So those would be both bearish for us. The fact that that 50-day is lower. So this one, the death cross already happened. However, we still have that trend. You can actually draw a trend line. I'll put a trend line on there for you because I'm feeling ambitious this morning. Not all that surprising. I'm an ambitious person by nature. There we go. There's the trend line that we're taking a look at, and that 50-day is something that yesterday in the trading failed to stay above. So this is one we can continue to drop down below. So that 50-day could act as resistance for us coming in at, let me see, I have it marked down here. Actually, I'll just zoom in and we'll do this. There we go. Put that right on the 50-day as we have it here. So about $115. It's also marked up here when you start to know where they show up on the Moomoo app, at least on the desktop version. Mobile version, it also shows up as well. It's a little bit more compact for technical analysis. I much prefer to do it on a desktop, but like I said, it's a wonderful software. And like I said, link down in the description if you want those free stocks as well as access to the trading platform. So moving on from there, we can see that we keep on finding an area of support right around $110. And so we could fall fairly significantly from where we closed yesterday, about 113. And in the pre-market hours, if I pop this out, it'll show me pre-market down at about 113 even. So still about 2% to give up there, but look what happens after that. After that, the floor starts to fall out, and we can really start to see around $100. So that would be about a 10% drop from where they're currently trading at. And it is possible that we start to see that, and it looks like we have a little bit. We'll go back to this one. And it's not perfect, but well, I still like it. There we go. There we have that one. Or if we go back to this peak, we get a little bit more parallel. Like I said, not quite perfect, but you can start to see a little bit of how that support is slipping each time. And I think it's going to continue to slip on this one. Like I said, bearish on that one as well. And then let's go to the last one. This one I think is interesting for us because of what happened yesterday in the market. So we had a fairly big sell, a 3.5% drop on the 9th of June, and then fast forward to the 12th of June. So from Friday to Monday in the markets, we got an engulfing candle. So this is actually really a bullish engulfing candle. This is a really good sign. And in the pre-market, we're pushing closer to that $12 mark. And that is something that we need to break above is $12, which you can see these previous peaks that we have here. If we're able to break above 12, we have room up to about 1274. So that's about a 6% climb. After that, we are clear to about 1340, 1350. So that would be what, another $1.50 up. So we have like 6 to 10% that DVAX could climb from where they're at. And it is also noteworthy that they are getting close to their golden cross moment as well. So trading above the 200-day, 50 days about to cross above the 200-day, and your 50-day above the 200-day is a bullish sign. The golden cross, that moment when that happens, where one does cross with the other, that is, like I said, another bullish sign. We do have support, by the way. It seems like we land on it right around $11.40. So that would tell you about how far you could see it tumble before we finally find support. But I do think that this is one that is, if the market allows for it, I think that this is going to continue to push out. When I say the market, I mean the market bias that we get from the Qs. If we get, for some unexpected reason, a big sell-off in the NASDAQ, for example, or in the S&P, then this might fail to play out. But in the meantime, this engulfing candle that we have, I think, is going to continue to propel us upward. We see that here with this. This is a huge, huge bullish engulfing candle. And look at the rise that has taken since then. And I don't think that the rally's done for DVAX. And if we look just a little bit fundamentally, the PE that it has going for it right now, trailing 12 months, 7.63. And then the PE static measure that they have is 6.04. And I don't really, like I said, I don't really know this company, but I can tell you that there's a lot of technical signs. The fact that the 200-day is flattening out, possibly turning to a positive slope for us. We'll have to see after this plays out, after this golden cross goes, if that 50-day is a good indicator. And when you look at the RSI, we've spent a lot of time recently in bullish territory. And so we'll see if that does continue to play out. And I do expect it to. And like I said, we're just going to have to see. So those are 3 plays that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you. And so there we go. Something that I like to do is look around the markets and find those opportunities, and Moomoo is definitely one of those things that helps me. So if you guys want to get access to that app, take advantage of those free shares, and also support my channel, like I said, that link is down in the description. You got to sign up, make a deposit of at least $100 or more to get those free stocks, $1,000 or more. I'll actually show you that offer here so you can see the details of it. I do realize that you come here for the opportunities, and so this is not only an opportunity for you, but it's also an opportunity for me, so I like to share it. So for this, so you can see the stocks here, claim your free stocks, each value between $3 and $2,000, and they show you a preview of that. And then you can see the deposit amounts, $100, $1,000, $5,000, and the rewards that it gets you. So there's opportunities to be found in all sorts of places where you look, not only with the market, but also through this channel. And there's also a link for the Patreon down in the description. If you'd like to hear more of my commentary, you can check that out. Also, join me over in my private Discord. Talk with me and my other community members over there. We'd absolutely love to have you. So grab your free stocks. See me over at the Patreon. Otherwise, I'll see you here at YouTube. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. We'll see you in the next video.